Which NFL coaches should probably be coaching a low D1 college team right now. Like Mark and I were having this discussion. Like I want you to pick one head coach and then one coordinator, either offensive or defensive, that truly shouldn't make it to Thanksgiving. Like should be out of the league, fired, gone, looking for the next thing before the season's even fully over.
It's hard. It's a hard decision because there's several coaches, honestly, that you could put in that conversation. New coaches, I always give the benefit of the doubt. You know, if it's your first year coach, I'm a little bit more hesitant. Um, I would say Josh McDaniels is the first one for me. That this is a guy that's been a head coach in the league before with different teams. He's had some success as a coordinator. This guy just stinks as a head coach. He doesn't make good decisions. He doesn't handle his personnel right. Last week's game is still making me itch. His decision making at the end of the Steelers game. He's done stuff like that in previous years. He would be the first guy for me to fire out of the Raiders. And then a coordinator, I'm gonna have to go with Matt Canada from Pittsburgh because this guy's had several years where he has talented offensive weapons. Najee Harris, Kenny Pickett is not a bad quarterback. He's got Pickens, he's got Deontay Johnson when he's healthy, Freiermuth. He's got these guys all over the place, and he doesn't use them. He doesn't make it complicated at all. He doesn't try to change up the looks. He just does the same thing kind of every week, and defenses have very clearly figured them out. And when you have a defense as good as they have, and Mike Tomlin is good of a motivator and a culture guy, you can't have a coordinator, an offensive coordinator that bad. And he's had his opportunity. They brought in guys that they thought were going to help him. Just bring in a different OC.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on that.
I think his seat is the hottest out of any coordinator in the league by a good margin. And I agree. It's just like the biggest thing is, can you make excuses for the weapons that you have on the field, or are you making excuses for your OC, right? You're either doing one or two, right? Either the OC's job is hard because you don't have anybody good on the offense, or the offense sucks because you have a bunch of good guys and the OC can't scheme them open or whatever it might be. So yeah, and for me, I think, and this one's kind of obvious, I think it's a gimme, but Matt Eberflus, I don't think is going to see the end of this season. I'm not sure if Ryan Poles will. I think the Bears are very much in the tank and hit the reset button in their entirety. And why not when you're sitting with, a quarterback that's tradable for some mid-round picks, and then you might have the first and second overall pick. If the season were to end today, that's where they'd end up. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. A runner-up too that Drew wanted to throw into the chat was Frank Reich, but we said he needs time. That's a good coaching staff, I think, but 0-4 is pretty rough as a tenured head coach like Frank Reich. And then for coordinator, this might be predictable too. Pete Carmichael, Saints offensive coordinator. Look, you got a healthy Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Raheed Shaheed, and then you have Alvin Kamara. You have, I'd say, an above-average offensive line, and Derek Carr. The fact that he can't scheme guys open when that's his cast of receivers, the fact that their run game seems to be a complete non-threat that the defensive line isn't taking seriously. It's at a point now, right, where it feels exactly like it did last season. And, everybody was MFing Andy Dalton, including myself. And I still think Andy Dalton was a huge problem, obviously. But you can't really be making those kind of excuses anymore. 6 points against, I know the Bucs are good this year, but they're still a pretty mid-tier team. 6 points against them is unacceptable. That's a division rival. You should know how that team runs its defense like the back of your hand, being in the seat that he's been in for as long as he has been. It's clear that Sean Payton was really the offensive mastermind, and I thought that would be a fine passing of the torch to him. And the offense has done nothing but regress for 3 years, and I think it's time for the Saints to find a different option because there's too much talent there.
You forgot about Jameis.
Famous
of all
Jameis,
these guys
man.
you named,
Yeah.
You got famous Jameis.
So
he needs out.
I think so. And it's like very similar kind of vibe and situation as Matt Canada, where it's like, and even more so, right? Because I'd say the Saints is a more talented offense than the Steelers do. It's like, why are guys not getting open? Why are there so many 3-and-outs? Why is the run game as bad as it is when the offensive line's pretty good and Alvin Kamara is back there? I don't get it. So got to get more creative there.